What's up everyone? How's it going? Welcome to today's analysis video. We did an analysis video last week and we're just really easing ourselves back into schedule. We did take two decent trades last week, so pretty happy about our performance last week. Um, but yeah, we're still on that really huge break. We did not trade that much within the month of September at all. We stopped end of August, came back first week of October. September, not many trades to be found there. That's why October I'm really looking back to getting into the groove of things, and that might require taking some losses as well, but I would rather get into the groove of things without taking any losses than taking losses. You know what I mean? But yeah, this video is essentially going to be a pre-week in combination with a market analysis. And that would be for today. So, not much there is to be said. Let's get straight into it, right? Let's go ahead and look at the news. What we know is that US government is still shut down, but Trump has said, it's down there, but Trump has said that the shutdown will end soon. So, it's going to be important to see what would happen. And what I'm gonna go ahead and do is take this and copy paste this into ChatGPT. And you'll see why in a second. Tell me what this means for NQ and ES intraday futures. Price action, volatility, etc. Direction, etc. Alright, hold on. There we go. So you can just copy this prompt if you want. Copy these need to know market risks just so you're a bit more tapped in and you don't take that extra work researching it yourself, because sometimes it's good to know the information, but this can just let you learn that information much more easier as it's in one place. Let me first parse the major themes and then map them into intraday. Here's how I think about intraday dynamics. NQ is tilted bullish, ES is tilted bullish. They both are tilted bullish. NQ has more, okay, yeah, that's, NQ is more volatile than ES is what it's saying. And ES typically at times follows NQ. It's saying that ES is the lagging indicator. Volatility, it's saying that both of them have elevated volatility, so we may see bigger moves or more wicking action as compared to other weeks or other days as well. Possible momentum breakout early with pullbacks. More choppy, some catch up. I don't know about that. Morning. Okay, I'm not trying to work about that. Okay, let's just read this. There's a strong tech growth catalyst. It can create a risk on tilt. So this is bullish news, right? We're seeing strength within semiconductor deal, right? We have AMD. It says it right there, US stock futures gain. But as OpenAI is signing these new deals with semiconductors, that's always bullish as these semiconductors make so much of the US market share, especially when in regards to the top companies in the United States, which happens to be ES and NQ. Top 100 companies in terms of the NASDAQ, top 500 companies in the United States. Simple as that. Now, let's see what the dollar strength means. It's saying that when bonds fall, that's usually favorable for equities, but your note says bonds fell, the dollar climbed. A stronger dollar is typically a headwind for US large cap equities, especially growth names with international exposure. So there is a mixed signal, positive for equities from the AI side, but some drag from dollar strength. I'm gonna scrap that. It does tell us a bit. Typically, bonds and stocks are correlated. That's just how the economy works, but the outperformance factor varies. And in our situation, we're not worrying about the outperformance at this moment, so we don't really have to worry about that. What we do see is that the bonds, hold on, bonds fell, dollar climbed. Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna ignore that for now simply because it isn't as applicable. Again, positive, but some drag, not worth when there's so much mixture in a taking a side, right? Macro geopolitical macro geopolitical tariff risk, truck tariffs, Russia oil faculty issues, cruise trend, tariff threats, risk premium. Risk premium is always a good thing. Risk premium goes along the sense of risk premia, which means that investors are rewarded for simply taking a risk into the US stock market. So that's a good thing. Supply disruption using energy tends to push energy and related sectors, which may be more impactful for may be more impactful for broader indices or sectors less represented in NQ. Again, it tells us a little bit, but how impactful is it really? We do know that there's supply slash disruption uses, but this news would be much more impactful when we're trading supply and energy stocks, right? In such a broad equity like ES and NQ, it's not really applicable as well. Crude strength can feed inflation expectations, pressuring interest rates, which can weigh on tech. Crude strength can feed inflation. Okay, let's ask this. Is this a good thing or bad? Very bad, moderate, very low, high, bad for valuation. For NQ, bad, mixed to slightly negative. Oh yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Inflation, yeah. We want inflation to be low, and and we want a balance between inflation and interest rates. Typically, when it's imbalanced is when we see our moves, right? In certain situations, not in all situations, but in certain situations where interest is very high, inflation is very low, that results in high profits. But on the other hand, it may drop the prices. So, I mean, could be potentially bearish, but we have other factors such as OpenAI that span bullish. So, although we have this news, all it's telling us is that we may be having a more wick sensitive week. And we see these types of things every week, so nothing should be crazy. And I'm just going to confirm what I see here, what I was talking about, right? So let's confirm one thing. If interest is high while inflation is low, that is bullish. And the vice versa is bearish. Yes or no? There we go. Generally speaking. Alright, perfect. So, I mean, now that we've gotten our fundamentals straight, let's quickly look over the next few days, see if there's anything this week. I don't believe there is. Nothing really we have to worry about. We do have IVPMI, which you might want to take a interval at 9 a.m. Wednesday we have FOMC. Shouldn't impact us in the morning that much. May may have lower volatility in the morning, but realistically, if you're looking at that perspective, we're not trading when FOMC is being conducted. Therefore, we are not experiencing those external conditions where traders advise not to trade. Thus, we can still trade, maybe just a bit more careful as there may be different situations because there's a lot of unexpected conditions later in the day. Thursday, Powell is speaking. We have unemployment claims, which is tentative. We don't like tentative, but keep in mind that it is on Thursday. And Friday, we have NFP. So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty volatile week. NFP is also tentative, which is not good. We have to keep an eye on these things as we're moving forward. But yeah, I mean, definitely, it's likely going to be a volatile week with all the news that we've had, with the government shutdown and other economic factors playing into consideration into this FOMC round. It's going to be very interesting to see the results and to see if anything happened regarding interest and inflation. And depending on the results and depending on NFP, unemployment claims, all of that, that may help us get some more information on the overall market. And if we have some more information on the overall market, we can have more information towards structure and towards price action, which can help us make better intraday trades with proper macroeconomic motive. So, I mean, that's basically a lot of our fundamental analysis that we've done there. Let's go ahead and do some quick technical analysis and move into order flow, where we find a majority of our edge. Again, I'm not necessarily leaking my strategy, as order flow is going to be interpreted differently by each and every individual. It's almost impossible for one to interpret order flow the same as another person, simply because it's quite, is it obscure? I don't know if obscure is the right word for it. I would say it's somewhat obscure, but it's not at the same time because it does provide objective data. But since people are trading different strategies, one may not use this absorption over here, or I mean, that's not even absorption. Hold on, let me find one. Okay, one may use this absorption up here, while another may use this selling absorption down here. It just depends on what an individual uses to drive a trade, and it's very difficult that two individuals can interpret that same entry criteria as another person, or else they would be a systematic trader. Rules are good, but discretion is important, or else it's important to, if it wasn't discretionary, you would be a very rich systematic trader, and systematic trading is not that easy at all in terms of outperforming the market. Neither is discretionary. So I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, enough talking. That's been almost 15 minutes of fundamental analysis. Yeah, let's just get started. We still have to analyze today's market action as well, and I don't necessarily want to do that in a separate video. Hold on. There we go. As you see, what we're noticing at the time that we're sitting at right now is that we're seeing a clear uptrend range or value, whatever you want to call it, right? But what we've noticed is that these all-time highs have not been broken yet. This up move could not drive a movement up to these all-time highs. That does show me a little bit of weakness, but if we can continue to hold, we might be able to break. Where we're sitting at right now, it does look like price may want to go lower and discover, or we might want to go up towards view up. It's hard to tell at this moment. Order flow may be able to help us with that. Yeah, I mean, I can't even remember for how long the markets have been just going up and up. Even with those Trump tariff dumps that we've had, price pretty much recovered quite quickly, and we've just been continuing towards the upside. It's quite cool to see. Alright, I'm gonna keep this range right here. I think it's quite redundant to mark out external. I'll mark out this range right here, and then that will be more than sufficient enough. Alright, all our main liquidity is down there. As you can see, a lot of lower liquidity, not much upper liquidity, showing large buying pressure. 3 hour. Oh, let me see if there's any zones on the 4 hour. Nope. 3 hour. Let me first look for any zones. I mean, I see this one right here. Go ahead and mark that out. 3 hour. Hold on, give me 1 second. Da, 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 da. Let's see if we're noticing anything else. I don't really see anything else. 2 hour. Ooh. What did I mark out there? I don't think I did anything. 2 hour, we do happen to see 2 hour level right here. And a zone to match that up. It's not in volume. Not in major volume, at least. Hold on. There we go. Alright. Alright, we do see a 2 hour there. Looking for anything on the lower end again. Not seeing too much. And of course, you can mark out this lower level. 2 hour here as well. It's a very big wick. I don't know if I'm not gonna mark that. Mark out the level though. It's a good gap fill area that we have seen a move from. Pretty much, yeah, I'm gonna mark that out. Mark that out as a 2 hour despite we're on the 1 hour. There we go. Let's see. There we go. There's our 1 hour. The reason I'm moving that up to the wick is because we see a clear move really close to it. And that only happens when you mark out the upper wick as well. We see that rejection there as well. Alright, so let's see. Okay, let's cater this a bit more, right? If you look from last Friday, we can even open the range even more. Since the end of last Wednesday to the present, where we're sitting at right now, price hasn't necessarily moved very trendy in any sense, right? And every time we've gotten a major move, it's primarily been on the downside. This is a massive move right there. Now, I'm not saying that there's going to be selling action that's going to come in tomorrow because I don't know. What I'm saying is that that could be a possibility. Volume will also help us more in that sense. But let's just hop on the 30 minute. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this. Let's go ahead and mark this one out. There you go. 30 minute. Not seeing much else. Alright, that's cool. Now, volume profile, because right now, on a higher time frame, it does look like we're going to continue going towards the upside. That's simply because majority of all moves are towards the upside, right? And because majority of all moves are towards the upside and majority of our trades are retracement models, majority of our trades would also be longs. But we can't constrain us to that trend, although it has been continuous. You have to notice these shifts in market characteristics. That's what I'm going to see what I can find using this. Let's go ahead and mark it out there. I mean, we do see two volume clusters, one near this area and one near this area. That's honestly not what I'm trying to see because I want to see more volume towards one side than another. But we do know that this 2 hour is valid and this 2 hour is also very valid. And what I like about this lower 2 hour is if you take a look at the volume profile, what do we notice? Which are there more buyers or sellers at this area? If you look at this box which I've drawn in, are there more buyers or are there more sellers? There are clearly much more sellers. Despite that, we had lots of sellers here. Despite that, we bounced from there. Bounced here, bounced here, bounced here, and potentially even bounced here as well. Sellers were showing absorption here. But then again, we could be constraining our view as there is a big sell that happened there. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I mean, if we go after that selling point, right? This point, we do have less volume there. But what we see is that there's still a peak there. And that peak is showing seller absorption. Making this such a big, oh my god, making this such a big level of interest. If we head down till there, there's more confidence that price will reject from that level. This level is going to be a key level that we should watch out for. This one, it's more equal. We just see high volume. And, I mean, it makes sense. We've come into that level and bounced a majority of times. So right now, we need to see some sort of breakout in direction for me to either decide to target towards the bottom or target towards the top. Because of the recent trend in terms of late today's movement, okay, hold on. Alright, just looking at it, right? Right now, I'm gonna be honest, I still can't tell if price is gonna go up or down. That's that's normal. Okay, that's nothing really crazy that we should worry about. I'm just trying to see what I notice here. Okay, we do see absorption there. Let's see, 3K. Okay, decent absorption there. Not not anything crazy though. And here, not anything crazy as well. Low volume as well. Low volume, but pretty crazy move. I mean, I say this almost every time, but market open is really going to decide a lot of things for us, right? Here, I'm going to go on to a lower time frame to reconstruct what happened at this candle, right? Alright, that does not help us at all. Came down to the level, saw a big push up. I want to see where we saw that push up. Simply from the bottom. So what I'm expecting was that we start to see selling pressure here, or potentially within this candle, right? This 9-12 candle, or the 9-10 candle on the 5 minute. Price went up like this, and then price came down to a lower point when it was up here. And then at this point, sellers were getting absorbed, and then buyers struck back in, pushing us even higher. Potentially what we've seen here. Because I'm seeing a lot of selling delta, but it's not at the bottom. So something could be there, and that might be a key area for us to try to take longs from. So honestly, that doesn't look like a bad idea. The only thing is that we have to get all the way down there, which can be a difficulty sometimes. Price may not want to go all the way there, but if we do go down there, we know what we're gonna look for. Um, I'm just gonna look at this top again. Lots of selling delta up there, aggressive selling coming in at that region. A lot of volume there as well. And of course, this all-time high region is going to be an important area for us to see play out. It's pretty common knowledge as well. 97, 97, 75, 750. So right below that low. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, this is what I would prefer, and this is the side I'm leaning towards. From what I'm seeing right now, I want to see price do something like this. That's what I want to see. But will that be what we do see? We cannot predict that. We can only follow what the market gives us. So, my preferable outcomes are going to be this. Uh, like such, right? I would also be inclined to something like this. Like like every preferable outcome, there's always the upside and the downside so that we're prepared on either side. Now, if this downside does occur to happen, right? Right now we're just making that retracement. Went back to VWAP. If we bounce from VWAP, easily could go down there. Not easily, but we could go down there. And if we see action down there that's meaningful, absorption and follow through momentum, we can enter if a risk and value perspective is correct and ride it up to another high volume area, perhaps VWAP or this upper volume level. That's what I'm noticing at the time being. And we did that using volume profile. technical analysis, fundamental analysis, and yeah, I mean, let's go ahead and look at NQ as well, just to be just to see what's going on at NQ as it can add any information. NQ is typically helpful mostly when we are live trading, as if there's not a zone on ES, but there is on NQ, that could add an additional level of confluence that may not have been able to be seen on ES, which can allow us to take a trade. Let's see, don't see anything else. Mark that right. I hope I did. 3 hour. There we go, there we go, there we go. Again, not liking that wick at all. It's a very small candle. It could be denoted either way, so I am gonna go ahead and mark that like such. Uh, let's keep marking. What am I? I'm clicking like all types of things right now. There you go. That covers that. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and mark that low as well. I'm gonna mark this as main liquidity, of course. Actually, no, I'm not marking that as main. Alright, that's cool. 30 minutes, let's see. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Yeah, we're good. I'm not gonna mark this right here, even though it may provide signal. Hold on. Yeah, I'm not gonna mark that. Oh, it might have worked, but for the sake of pre-week analysis, and I'm not gonna mark it. Okay, let's see, same thing, right before Wednesday. And this is quite interesting, right? Because on NQ, our volume is more distributed, right? On, okay, for those people familiar with stats, yeah, damn, I'm geeking out right now. But NQ volume profile is more of a normal distribution, while as you see on ES, we have more of a binomial distribution, if I'm correct. Binomial distribution. Ooh, I don't know if it's called binomial. Two peak stats distribution curve name. Bimodal. It's a bimodal distribution. So ES is a bimodal distribution while NQ is normal distribution. Mm, that kind of removes potential. I'm trying to think. Hold on. Let's move it closer. Mm, that's right where we're at right now. I want to see if that selling interest is still there, like we were talking about. Here we made lower lows actually. That's where the interesting part comes in. But we do see that we're seeing seller absorption here. That verifies that level being significant. I'm just looking at this volume here. I mean, there's a lot of buyers and sellers, but this could be an area where price wants to stay at. So go ahead and make this closer. It's not telling us much. There's more interest right here. There we go. So I mean, we are seeing volume distributed throughout this entire region right here. Might tell us that we may stay around this region. But if we break this low, we can head down to this 3 hour, and I'm trying to see, hold on, Friday. That would also be Friday. Interesting. Uh, let's see. What time is this? Monday 2. Okay, there's a key difference. On ES, this 2 a.m. thing happened here. And if you notice, this 9 a.m. thing made a much bigger lower low. On NQ, on the other hand, the 2 a.m. was here, the 9 a.m. was all the way up here. So whatever happened overnight heavily favored tech. So potentially ES will follow. Once again, can't really tell, but we do have key levels that we can play off of and hopefully follow direction towards those levels. As these levels not only act as paddles, but they also act as, God, yeah, they also act as magnets. They also act as magnets. So they're paddles and magnets. Once we get to them, they're paddles. When we're far away, they're magnets. Right now we're far away, so they are magnets, but they're pulling against each other, so like such. I mean, it's not negating what we've said on ES. It's just making things a bit more complicated because there's more noise on NQ and they're not as correlated. If NQ is a leading indicator, we are very close to this low. Okay, that's interesting, right? If you play simply based off structure, if we come down to this level, we can see reaction there. So, okay, yeah, that lines up nicely now. Yeah, it's quite perfect. Yeah, yeah. Something like this, okay? Why is that the case? There is a lack of correlation between the two assets. There is volume here. Wait, there's a lack of correlation between the two assets. There is volume here, but there is volume here as well, kind of complicating things. While on ES, we see absorption here at the bottom, making us believe this is a magnet and this above area simply because of volume. While here, that magnet that was formed on ES Because on ES, this low is at the same position as this low. As you see on NQ, they're much higher. That's pretty bullish, but right now we've come down, so potentially we don't have to go as much down as we need to, right? This is going to be our key level. So tomorrow morning, I would prefer going like short until we reach this level, which could easily happen overnight. But depending on how we react to this level and where we see at large amounts of volume and interest, that can be the area. But this is the key level that I'm looking for in NQ, which is the same as this key level that we talked about in ES. So although it looks very different on both assets, it's following the same time frame structure. So there's that. I would prefer the shorts until the longs come in, but as always, this could happen as well. But yeah, I mean, there's our preferable outcomes or predictable outcomes for the upcoming week. This is on NQ, this is on ES, and this is going to be a rare time where we have to use both simply because the assets are not correlated with each other as much as normal. Now, let's conclude that with the VIX. Oops. We're at 16 right now. Let's see. I mean, VIX isn't necessarily in a bad place at all. Yeah, honestly, I'm not gonna overcomplicate with the VIX. I'm not seeing much. It's not at any key level. So, I mean, essentially, that's that's basically what we found on both ES and NQ. Now, what we can go ahead and do is see if there's anything that we can find based on today's price action using the 5-minute footprint and tell. All right, perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and open up Bookmap on my ES monitor and we'll work through it there. Just give me 1 second as I open it up. Yeah. Alright, here we are. Let's hop on the 5-minute and see what's happening in market open. Market open, we saw aggressive selling pressure occur. Um, Looks like we're following the trend we've made pre-market. So let's keep moving. Really just looking to see if I can capture anything. Likely not going to be anything right at 8:30, so I'm going to skip to 8:45, which is 9:45 on this live stream. Okay, price has went down into this massive barrier region down here from 6775 to around 6779-ish area, and that's not satire with the 67 number. Uh, let's go to that location. Not 45. Not 45. 8:45. Alright, right here would be the candle. As we're coming down, we do see the selling pressure somewhat get absorbed here. Nothing is strong enough for confidence, I would say. But we have a lot of targets on the downside, only one target on the upside. That target is quite far away as well. Nothing right now would be time to just wait passively. Yeah, I mean, lots of passive buyers in it. Sellers are continuing to burst through them. What I'm noticing is that there is a level here at 6760 and 45 candle. Interesting. We might see a potential setup here at 8:45 or 9:45 Eastern. Ooh, this looks very good. Let's see what happens. We get up to that level, don't we? We do, that's perfect. I'm looking to take a short here, potentially, right? I don't know if I would have in live session or not because we're so zoomed out. But we had this 100 passive seller pop in here on Bookmap. We took that liquidity, right? Hold on, I'll show you. Right here. That's significant looking at the other levels, and we do happen to take that out. Now what we're seeing after is that sellers are showing urgency to get filled, and they're moving their orders lower and lower at 6:47, 9:47. I want to see a bit more seller aggression and then potential entry. Okay, say we got an entry at 6777, such a great number. Simply because we saw that seller absorption, we saw aggressive selling motive, we see clear targets on the downside and a divergence of value, right? Barrier, we have lots of opening towards these lower areas. 6750 is lower as well, a psychological level. So let's see how that would look, right? 945 candle, 845 candle. We enter 6777. We place our stop loss where? Interesting. I would say 6780. So 2 ticks above. So 14 ticks stop loss, right? Keep in mind, okay, let's just move on to the 1 minute. So we'll know if he got stopped out or not. He may have gotten stopped out. Interesting. Interesting. And then take profit. We do see the stack thing occur, but I'm seeing very key levels down here, 300. So that's going to be my target. If we do see weakness here, like once we reach this area and start battling, we'll move our stop to profit. Just simply based off discretion as to how this trade is presented, right? And that area would be 763. As you see, we don't get to that area. So let's see what actually happened, right? No, I mean, I'll keep it clear as day. We would have got stopped. Right there, we saw the signal right there. And then the signal got invalidated, we got stopped out. And we saw aggressive buying urgency. Both invalidators of our trade, making this trade a one that would have actually failed. But if you look at the extent of that failure, taking 13 tick stop, taking a 13 tick loss is very minor compared to the potential profit that we would have gained. So, not a bad trade to have lost. Let's see if there's some place where we could have taken a good profitable trade. Right now we're minus 13 on the day. Right now we're continuing to go down. Not much liquidity on the upside, but we're bleeding through these lower levels. 6, 7, 70 area seems to be a psychological level. We break below. Starting to see buyer icebergs coming. I could not have predicted that we would have reversed there. Okay. At 9:13 or 10:13 as we see here, sellers continue to bleed through. At this point though, came down, buyers put in buyer icebergs. Passive buyers defended that area. We took that area, but aggressive buying came in. So either this buying came in as a retracement to a VWAP, or it could just be a reversal. There is still a pretty big location down there though, so right now we're still watching. That would be this candle right here. We do see liquidity there, nothing significant for me to worry about. Let's see. That's very aggressive. Hold on, let's go and find it. I mean, we came down to this region, didn't necessarily see seller absorption. Price bounced up. Yeah, I mean, nothing we could have taken there, I'm gonna be honest. Or nothing we should have taken as well. Minus 13 on the day from gauging. Mm, mm, mm. I'm still watching. It's calm that the first trade failed. Right now, we're really zoomed out due to that lower liquidity. It would be nice to see some lower stuff. But we don't see anything special here, just a lot of clustering next to the price where we're sitting at right now. Buyer icebergs there, but we do see seller icebergs as well. We're fighting at that region right around 1017-ish. Right around this area. We do see volume, low, small candle. We're fighting at that region to figure out where we go next. And that happened in the next candle as well. Just the bigger range. Interesting. Take a look at the volume delta or cumulative volume delta CVD. We're seeing lots of selling delta at this region. Lots of selling delta throughout, but particularly at this region, we're seeing lots of selling delta. I mean, we are seeing buying delta above, but more than that, we're seeing selling delta. Just a hint of potential seller absorption, nothing to enter off of being said. Okay, now it's starting to get a bit more interesting. 1020. Ooh, this is starting to get very interesting. Alright, right now, what we're seeing, right? We saw this indication of potential selling absorption. Buying and selling is battling extremely right at this point, right? We know this is a key area to watch as they're fighting. That's basically what I can say. Now, we're seeing a buying barrier come here and prices testing that region. And we have this 6780 level to potentially target. Oh, never mind. Did it? Wait, hold on. No, no, never mind, never mind. Okay, I mean, the pop did happen. No area for us to enter, though. No place to even see confirmation. Again, looks like we are just watching again. No trades to be taken there. We are seeing that big seller barrier up top. I wouldn't really want to take a reversal play though. That's cumulative hourly volume delta, I believe. Nothing to enter throughout any of this, and it's already 9:30 in that. Hmm. See buying pop in, we're still battling. Been almost 15 minutes of pure battle between buyers and sellers. Still battling. It's honestly super boring. What happened there? 1040. Saw this big selling move occur. Holy crap, the consolidation occurs from even longer. Big selling move taking out all that buying liquidity right there. I mean, this would be a good value area for the longs. Cumulative volume delta doesn't look as good again as we wanted to. I and visibility is blocked. Oh wow, more selling. We're battling upper liquidity. Oh my god, that's boring as hell. Looking like typical Monday. I mean, we're starting to see upside movement happen. I mean, we're still just choppy. Look at the low movement, big wicks. 1051. Maybe something there. That's interesting. There might actually be a trade to take there. I'm just trying to look for trades. Typically, I don't look for trades because I want the trades to present themselves, right? Like right now, I'm looking for any trades that might have worked. I probably wouldn't have taken anything of this nature nonetheless, right? We do see, yeah, you know what? Honestly, I would not have taken it, so I'm not gonna even present it, even though it would have worked out. Oh my god, this has got to be crazy movement, bro. Can it load? Can it load? Can it load? Can it load? Alright, I mean, we saw a pretty big up move. Now we're testing that 8-2 region. We do have liquidity up at 6790. Potentially, since we broke this level, that's indication that we might want to continue higher. It is past the typical preferable trading times, but anything after 10 is not preferable. After 10:30 is should not be traded typically for our strategy, at least from what we found has worked for us. I mean, that 6785 barrier is preventing us from taking any trades. Oh no, not 1109. Pretty good retracement we've made there with this sell move. Trying to see when that buyer iceberg comes in. Right after, as you can see, if you'll see that it's right after that sell move. We saw very aggressive buying icebergs with this volume right here. This one I might actually take, surprisingly. Risk might not be, the risk is low-key not good on this one at all. 6783, 6783, 1009. Wait a minute, what am I seeing? Risk isn't bad at all. Risk is actually pretty good. 6783, Stop loss below 6780, so 6795, like such. Targeting 6790, which would have hit, I mean, 2 ticks below, so right there would have hit. But I mean, the only reason I might have taken this trade, one, we've shown confirmation that we want to head higher after breaking this level, after constantly fighting between buyers and sellers. And we did that through buying icebergs as well. Now suddenly, we made this big sell move. Buying icebergs came in right after. It was very quick. If you noticed it, you might have been able to take a trade. And you quickly rebalanced from that area. That is showing me pretty bullish signal that price may want to capture this 6785 region. If we can break that area as well, it's likely we go to 6790. I'm betting that we're gonna break this region, and that's where my risk is the fact that we'll break this region, and I mean if we don't break that region, we're gonna head down. So that's the risk that I'm taking, and I'm willing to bet that because I don't know, last circle, because we went down heavily and got into a good value region, and lots of buying icebergs occurred. This is a significant amount that institutions may be buying around this region, and if institutions are loading up around there, I'm gonna load up around there as well. That's just the thesis that we're going against. We're essentially falling capital. We don't know if it's hedge fund or whoever. We're just going off the fact that a large participant entered into buys at this region after we saw aggressive selling towards the downside, and that rebalanced the market. So aggressive selling is unable to break through that lower barrier. That's the bet that we're taking. I mean, we are chopping around here a little bit. Oh my god. Hold on. Yeah, oh, let's see. This would have definitely been a scary place to hold. Because the buying comes in, but now we're back to our entry. And now look at that. Hold on. There, you see? You see very aggressive selling occur. Skewed on one side. And that causes price to head down lower. We do see some hidden iceberg there of 100 orders. Waiting to be filled potentially. I mean, we're coming down. Not as aggressive sellers for sure. But we're coming down nonetheless. Yeah, I mean, that would have been very scary to hold through. Our thesis was that the upper region would break, and it did not break. But our stop is still intact, and VWAP is protecting that region as well, if you notice. Right at VWAP, that region is, so that's pretty good stop loss. And now we're rebalancing. There's not much volume in the market at all. As you can see, we only have 10,000, 8,000 contracts being filled within one candle. Here, we saw selling pressure occur, and you can see that 2,000 sell contracts, seller imbalance downwards. These sellers got absorbed, and we entered up here above all this aggressive selling. That was a signal of absorption. But now, price is battling once again, and it's very annoying to hold through all of this, right? But finally, we're starting to see some buying action occur. Now, if I waited, this region would have been a great area to enter. We have this barrier right here at around 6783, 200 contracts. I want to see if we see selling absorption there, right? Let's see, hold on. I'm looking, there we go, there we go. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't look the best. That's what I'll say. This trade as well is not the most optimal trade at all, right? Where we would have exited at 10:45, much past our trading hours. It's not. You know what? It's 10:25 here. Right now it does look like the trade would have went out and played towards our favor. I'm gonna view it here. And that being said, I am still gonna count this. I'm gonna count this as a break-even trade, even though it would have worked out. Simply because we would not have been on the charts at this time. Moving forward and forward and forward and forward and forward. Goddamn. I think my mic is a little bit low in volume, so I'm gonna have to increase that soon. But I'm gonna check too. But yeah, I mean, pretty low volume there. 7K. Typically, we want like at least we want double digit volume. Area where we took the trade, we started reducing in volume, and that's not what we want to see. Trade would have played out. Assuming it did play out, we would have been plus 13 ticks in profit, which is a pretty hefty amount. Not a bad day at all. If this counted as break even, it would have been down minus 13 ticks. So, a day in which it could have gone either way, and that's pretty reasonable on a low volume, low volatility Monday. So, yeah, honestly, I'm going to keep it at that. We discussed our pre-week analysis and pre-week preferable outcomes, which we have marked here. This is on ES. This is on NQ. They do differ simply because it isn't as correlated, but we kept our room open and we're looking to see if the purple lines occur, and we're most prepared for those purple lines. That being said, if the white lines do happen, we are still prepared. So that's where I'm going to conclude this video. If you have any questions, feel free to join the completely free Discord server where there are a bunch of motivated traders looking to truly level their game and improve as traders with each other inside the server. Highly recommend you guys to join. You can just join a great network. And if you don't want to do that, you can leave a comment down below. If I see it, I'll be sure to answer it there as well. Additionally, you see these footprint charts and bookmap charts that I'm using? You can check those out in the description below as well. Footprint chart has a lot of free functionality that can help you get integrated into your strategy right away. With Addis, one of our channel partners, you can actually get to use these footprint features, just data is delayed. But you can use delayed data to test your strategy with footprint to make sure it's actually a good fit. Everything which I promote on this channel, I'm not going to promote anything that's necessarily paid, as I don't really gain that much out of it, right? Use it for free if that's what you wish to do. And as always, no financial advice. But yeah, that's where I'm going to conclude this video. It's been a 75-minute video. This might be a record for one of our longest videos. But as we're getting back in our trading momentum, it makes sense why this video is so long. So I'm looking to hopefully see you guys tomorrow morning for pre-market analysis. If not pre-market, I'll see you guys later tomorrow for the market analysis session. So I'll see you guys then. Goodbye.